Yesterday, I put up a video about the whole Kraut and T drama that culminated in Kraut shutting down his channel and disappearing from Twitter and Discord and all the rest of it. Now, in that rather long video, there were several elements to it that in very few short hours have all come to pass. But the most significant was that I alleged that Sargon of Akkad, the leader of the skeptic community, was perfectly aware of the doxing and smearing campaign that Kraut was carrying out. Now, my evidence for this was quite tenuous. And in point of fact, one could argue that it was very weak. And I would agree. It was very weak, but from my experience, it was enough. And I was convinced that it was true. And I laid out my very slim evidence and put out the fact that Sargon of Akkad, since he knew, as I believed him to have known this was going on, since he knew, he should have put a stop to it. He should have put a stop to it instantly. The second that he heard about what was going on, he should have said, no, this is unacceptable. He should have acted like a leader. That's what I said. Now, this morning, unsolicited, I got a copy of a recording. I'm going to play you that recording.
Every yell of its channel is not private.
Jeff. Oh my god, the fact that I gathered this data on Coach Red Pill is going to bite me in the fucking ass because he knows I gathered it. Where the fuck is Jeff Holiday now?
That's
Oh my god.
that's what I was concerned about. I think somehow the drama is sort of bleeding over into what's going on with you, Kraut. Well, maybe we can discuss that afterwards, but
Which drama?
my drama. It's that part of the skeptic community. I have a reputation that's being spread. There's a slander going around. They're trying to turn me into the next AIU. That's basically what's happening, and this is where Sargon is getting his ideas. People are just trying to. They're afraid of a few things. I could explain pretty much everything. Every accusation, I have proof for pretty much everything. They don't have any proof. This is all just sort of a smear campaign because I more or less started exposing people for their bullshit, and people don't like to be cornered like that. So it's causing a problem. And I think
is this Sargon telling me to stay in my place,
Yeah, pretty much.
to not go after the alt-right?
Sorry, no, why?
I don't think so. I think what he says is that if things are construed to be tactics of the SJWs, it looks bad on anyone and nobody wins.
True. Kraut, you need to let him know that any information that you gathered on Coach Red Pill was a background check on his credentials and who he is as a person. That is all. It wasn't meant for tactics to be used against him in a SJW way. It was to verify his credibility as somebody who speaks in that field of expertise.
Jeff. The data I gathered on Coach Red Pill is now being used against me, essentially. They think.
What do you mean?
That's the thing. Like the first thing he brought up. Why are you gathering private information? Like, for example, on Coach Red Pill.
It's not private information.
And here's the thing. He claims I've been doing the same with Ryan Falk, etc., etc. That I'm gathering private data. And
What's
doxing people
private
left, right,
about
center,
Ryan Falk? I can Google
Brian Falk is a
every
public figure.
I have to tell you something, Jeff. I shared the things that I got on Coach Red Pill with Sargon of Akkad.
Yeah, so?
And he's now accusing me of doing SJW tactics.
That's not SJW tactics. That's vetting somebody who's talking as a public figure.
Exactly.
That's something every news organization does. That's something every fucking YouTuber does. That's absolutely fucking preposterous. The only reason why anybody gives a shit about any of this is because they're positioning themselves as being persecuted. That is a fucking SJW tactic. Oh, I'm a persecution. Oh, I'm a persecution. This is why it's wrong. No, what's wrong is defrauding a fucking economist. What's wrong is being a large piece of shit that has to hide from social media for 3 years. Like, none of that is personal information. None of it is.
No, all of that was easily found online thanks to his own inability to use a different name on his own Patreon account. I don't understand why Sargon, who has done this himself.
Dude, if somebody was smearing me on YouTube, I would look into their past. I would look into their background. I would not release that information, but I would want to know who they are. And
Exactly.
Does Sargon think? Does Sargon think because I was looking up this woman who's giving people bad health advice, that when she was giving somebody psychological support and they ended up killing themselves, and I revealed that in a video, oh, I doxed that person? Dude, fuck off. That's absolutely preposterous.
From a
This is such a
political
fucking
from a
disaster.
political perspective,
No, crowd,
Sargon
you're
is trying to
tired,
choose
man.
the
Don't think
sure
like that.
bet. That's what he's trying to do.
It's not a disaster at all.
Yes.
It helps to clarify people's positions.
Before we get into what is revealed in this recording, I just want to tell you guys something. You see, somebody who doesn't speak any English could listen to that conversation and they would hear desperation, fear. Where is this fear coming from? Because all the people in that call knew that what they were doing was wrong. They knew that what they were doing, what they were involved in, what they were carrying out was morally wrong. People who are innocent of what they're doing, people who are just going about their business, about their work, having a meeting, talking about the problems of their work, they don't sound like that. They don't sound like that at all. Those people knew that what they were doing was wrong, and they rationalized it and pretended, that it wasn't like, they just rationalized away their behavior, but they knew that it was wrong. So I want to tell you this before we get into the specifics. If you are ever in a meeting where the people sound like that, where you sound like that, I want you to please get up off your chair, turn around, and walk out of the room. Because you're not involved in anything decent or good. And you should not be having such a conversation. Okay? Okay. That being said, I took some notes on this whole thing. Good God. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this. This was unsolicited. It just fell in my lap. I would not be surprised if more incriminating evidence starts falling in my lap. Okay? Now, I'm going to read off the salient points that I gathered from this recording, and then I'm going to draw a few conclusions. Now, the first salient point that I gathered from this was that, number one, Kraut himself gathered data on me. Number two, Kraut shared what he gathered with Sargon of Akkad before this conversation. That's very interesting because this conversation, it sounds like it occurred right after my post of December 5th, where I said that Kraut planned to dox me, and here he is having this conversation apparently after that video had come out, my video. And from the way that they're talking, it's as if Sargon and Kraut had been speaking before. So when I said in yesterday's video that perhaps as early as December 11th, Sargon was aware of what was going on, we're going to have to push that date a lot farther back. Now we're moving into the territory of November. Okay? So Sargon of Akkad knew for several weeks what Kraut and T was up to. The third salient point is that Sargon told Kraut that what he was doing was what SJWs did. So Sargon was aware of the morally indefensible act that Kraut was carrying out. Sargon himself said that it was something that SJWs do, therefore something that we should not do, our side should not do. All right. Now those seem to be the salient points of this conversation. I'm sure other people with other interests will find other little tidbits in this recording. It's disappointing. It's just disappointing. And it's pathetic. And all this garbage talk about arguing the points, confronting the argument, not the person making the argument. It was all hypocrisy, all bullshit. Sargon of Akkad knew what was going on. He knew it full well, and he did not put a stop to it. He could have. He had at least 2 weeks before this whole thing broke over the weekend. He had plenty of time to realize that what was going on was wrong. He himself handled confidential information about me. That information was given to him by Kraut. Sargon knew. I'm not going to talk anymore about this stuff. It just depresses the hell out of me, to tell you the truth. It's just sad and pathetic. It's a small bore. We're talking about some YouTube videos here. I mean, we're not talking about millions of dollars. If this were millions of dollars or the fate of nations, then okay, maybe it's all justified, all this backstabbing and these little secret meetings and silly recordings and all the rest of it. But we're talking YouTube videos here. This is a hobby. It's just a lark. It's just for fun, right? And look at these people. Look at these people, scurrying around like rats, trying to cover their asses now on Twitter. I'm reading a whole shitload of stuff about me. People calling me a con man, people calling me this, that, the other. They're all screeching like drowning rats. I mean, really. The bottom line, it turns out that everything I said in yesterday's video that I suspected that Sargon of Akkad knew, well, it's been confirmed. He knew, and he had plenty of time. And like the coward that I said that he was, he did not take the decisive actions of a leader. He did not. He acted like a little fucking bitch, because that's what he is. A tubby, fat, cuckolded bitch. He's not somebody that I can take seriously, and neither should you. The fact of the matter is that Sargon of Akkad did not act like a leader. He acted like a... Frankly, he acted, and they all acted, like a bunch of like a bunch of junior high girls. Like a bunch of LARPers.